Is this a good angle? We'll see. Hi, critters and creatures. My name is Faye, and today I am subjecting you to more of my fanfiction. You thought you escaped? You thought you escaped, but you didn't. You really didn't. Okay, so currently I have it updated to chapter 4. We are on chapter 3 today. It has been weeks since I updated. I don't know how many weeks, but it's been weeks. Because I have not written chapter 5. I have everything kind of prepared for it. Like, I know what recipe I'm going to use. I just need to actually write it and, like, write it in my document. We'll see. If you hear something in the background, that's my washer. I might move my computer, actually, so that my angle's better. I'm gonna move it over here. Is that better? I don't know. I can't tell. I need to move all my stuff around because I have a million things on my table right now. Is this better if I go like this? Like that? Okay. Well, welcome to chapter 3. Let's get started. After the end of class and after escaping Yukihira, I went to the grocery shop. Kyokusei is notorious for its difficult entrance exam. Each caretaker is an alumni with... Oh yeah, Kyokusei dorm, I forgot. I mistook it for Totsuke. Kyokusei is notorious for its difficult entrance exam. Each caretaker is an alumni with distinguished tastes who won't let you so much as sleep on the floor if they dislike your dish. At least that's the fear-mongering of my mother. Despite her tales of lying cold in the frigid spring, all of the rest of her stories of Kyokusei paint the picture of a lively hall where the stove never stayed cold for long. Top students collected to test recipes and make memories. Oji-chan wasn't a part of that particular experience, but he said it was a great home away from home. A large garden, a beautiful house, an amazing kitchen, and wonderful people. Well, mostly wonderful people? I think it's a safe assumption that I should meet Yukihira once more in the dorm. That was rude, huh? He's nice when he isn't torturing people with food, it's just that my most recent experience with him has colored him in a harsh light. I've already decided on my dish for the exam, so it was simple to find the ingredients once I located the correct aisles. Then, I just had to stop by my hotel room to pick up my luggage. I packed light. Kinda. I had to bring my instruments. They were an important part of my recipe development. I strapped my keyboard against my back and put my backpack into my duffel bag and slung it over my shoulder. With my violin in one hand and my groceries in the other, I finally ventured up the steep mountains of Totsuki to Kyokusei dorm. What I found when I arrived was not at all what I had expected. Maybe it was due to the darkness, but it looked more like a haunted manor attraction than a reputable dorm that housed members of the Ten. The gate squeaked like vinegar as I stepped through, the path stones loose beneath my feet. I can't read. A crow cawed in the distance as the windows stared through lids of dense ivy that covered the lower parts of the house. I knocked, but when the door opened, it came with a ghastly creak, ice dripping down my throat. No one had opened it. It really is a horror house when it's presented the first time in the anime. Anyways. Hello? I said as I tentatively stepped in. Footsteps echoed from every direction in the dark foyer? How do you guys pronounce that word? My bra strap is falling down on both sides. I need to tighten them, but that's maybe TMI, but like, whatever. Kids shouldn't be watching Food Wars anyways, so if you're interested in this video, you're not a kid, right? Actually, wait, I watched Food Wars when I was a kid. I'm just gonna keep reading. Footsteps echoed from every direction in the dark foyer. No lights were on in the house. Slowly, a set approached me, a muted pepper hitting my tongue with each step, until finally she came from the shadows. You must be the other transfer student. Miara Setsuko, yes? I nodded with the words of the elderly woman. I am the dorm mother for this establishment, Fumio, or Daimyo-sen, or the Holy Mother of Kyokusei. Now, I see you are actually prepared for the exam, yes? Yes, Daimyo-san. The way she worded that, It sounds like Yukihiro wasn't prepared. I hope he still passes. It's very cold outside. Good. We'll set your stuff there for now and follow me. Bring your ingredients to the kitchen. I set my things at the foot of the staircase, next to what I assume are Yukihiro's belongings, a bucket and a small bag. Boys really are something. I follow her into the kitchen, which is quite the difference to the rest of the house. Warm and inviting, the bright colors of the wall are very relaxing. Bright colors of the wall are very... Oh, that was supposed to be walls. I already published this! Yeah. I've been watching a lot of K-dramas lately, so if I do that... Shame me. I don't know. Okay. I follow her into the kitchen, which is quite the difference to the rest of the house. Warm and inviting, the bright colors of the walls are very relaxing. The scent of Yukihiro's cooking fills the large area. You can start cooking. He started his exam a while ago. While that's supposed to be Daimido-san. While Daimido-san takes a seat at the counter opposite the stove, I start to arrange my ingredients. Hey Setsuko, I didn't know you were in a dorm here too. Wait, did you know about the entry test? He says, surprised when he sees my bags. Yes, it was on the information sheet. What? Aw, man, I guess I missed that part. I've been cooking with leftovers, he quirks a grin. Over the course of the day, I've gotten... Jesus? I'm sorry. Over the course of the day, I've gotten the impression that Yukihiro isn't much for reading, be it instructions or rooms. Oh, well, you can use some of my ingredients if you'd like. Nah, I got it covered. Alright then, good luck to you, Yukihiro-kun. Yeah, you too, he chews a squid tentacle as he works. I almost shiver just at the sight of it. But I power through my trauma and begin my dish. Most dishes that I test in advance are based on songs I've tasted, and this is no different. The dish I'm making today is The Devil Went Down to Georgia. When I was first learning the violin, Oji-san would try to teach me Johnny's solo in the song. It tasted terrible, and we both gagged a lot. But I learned more than just the solo by practicing it. It was a test of perseverance and patience, learning how to do things the right way, not the fast way. Anyways, the lively violin paired with the consistency of the drums and the thrilling bass line of the demonic band all worked in harmony to create a wonderful stir-fry with rice. Like the Devil's solo, stir-fry looks complex where it isn't. Well, it can be if you make it complex, but typically it's a quick and simple meal. On the other hand, rice is more complex than people think, like Johnny's solo. It takes time to learn the proper technique, from timing to flavoring, and well, there's a lot. Yukihiro reminds me of Johnny in a way. He's learned the proper techniques and uses his knowledge and experience to improvise. To start out my dish, I'm making a simple chicken broth. But since I don't want to make Daimido-san wait 3 hours, I bought some unseasoned broth that I'm just going to add a little more flavor to. Right now it's like drinking chicken, but more muted than the actual thing. Which is fine, it's a chicken broth, it should sound like that. But for my dish I need something more than that. So I'm going to re-simmer the broth with a little bit of sauteed chicken, garlic, parsley, onions, and just a tiny bit of salt. Then I'll leave it to simmer for 30 minutes while I prep my other ingredients. I can't actually cook the stir-fry yet because it'll be cold by the time I serve it, so instead I cut my veggies and watch as Yukihiro serves his dish. I used the rest of your canned mackerel to make a mackerel burger. I added onions and breadcrumbs to the egg, then mixed it with the mackerel, added pepper, and lightly salted it. I fried that up, creating a flaky mackerel burger steak. Then I added ponzu to the leftover mackerel liquid and thickened it with some potato starch to make a simple, refreshing sauce. Given the time frame, I call it Yukihiro brand Use What You've Got Holy Mackerel Burger. Long name, but impressive that he made that using only leftover ingredients. And to make a mackerel burger on a whim is quite the trick. Hamburg steak made from canned mackerel? This should be horrendous and inedible. In theory, I guess Daimido-san is right. You can't make a traditional Hamburg steak using fish. But Yukihiro isn't a traditional chef. She takes a bite and then a sip of his soup side dish. Huh? Hey boy, how on earth did you make this? We have no seaweed or fish flakes. Nothing that could have been used to create a fish stock. Okay, well now that's just impossible. Well, about that, I happen to have something on hand. He flicks the tentacle he's been chewing. Oh, of course. Dried squid is pure umami. It makes for the perfect base ingredient. It makes for the perfect base ingredient. I can't speak. For soup stock. That's an amazing improvisation. Oh my god. That's an amazing improvisation, Yukihira-kun. Thanks. Daimida-san continues to enjoy her meal, lost in her thoughts, and I smile as I go back to my own cooking. My broth still needs a minute or two for the notes to line up, but my veggies are prepped and my seasonings are roughly portioned. This is going to be awkward for me to read. But y'all remember that scene? Y'all remember this scene, right? What happens? I'm about to read that. It's going to be so bad. Oh, give me some of that sugar, Daimido says. Daimido-san grabs at Yukihira. Whoa, hey, he exclaims, pushing her away. Get away from me! Daimido-san? That was unexpected. Why was she trying to... I don't want to think about that, actually. I'll just chuck it up to good food being powerful. The dorm mother clears her throat, cutting through the awkward tension in the room. Very well, you may live in the dorm. I should hope so after that. Huh? You're welcome. Yukihira smiles, removing his headband. I leave them to sort out the logistics of his board, because my broth is finally finished. I leave the pot off of heat to start working on my rice, which of course starts with rinsing it. Rinsing rice helps to wash away the starches. Some cultures refer to it as cleansing the impurities of the rice. It helps remove any dirt, dust, or the aforementioned starches on the rice. Plus, it rehydrates it. I say the rice way too many times. Plus, it rehydrates it. Once the water runs clear, I can set it to the side and start melting butter in my pan. I follow it up with some spices, simmering until they become aromatic. I'm aromantic, so... that word. So, Miara, the taste of masala chai, spicy, creamy, and sweet, interrupts my thoughts. Yes, Daimilo-san? I glance over my shoulder at her as I continue simmering. Your mother was a dormer here too, wasn't she? Aikiko? Yeah, I read that right. Aikiko? Yes, that's right. My grandfather was too. Right. So it's a family legacy then? Well, I guess you could call it that. I carefully poured the chicken broth into the butter mixture, leaving the other ingredients still in the pot, and turned the heat up. I have to keep a keen eye on it as I bring it to a boil. I proctored your mother's exam. You have a high standard to live up to. I'll do my best. I almost cringe visibly at the idea of being compared to my mother. She's a much better chef, and I have no idea what her cooking was like when she was my age. Probably very good to have entered the dorm in its golden era. I imagine it was even harder to get in back then. I hope she'll allow me to leave my instruments inside. I already checked out of the hotel. Not that I'd be able to go back there. It's too late in the evening to be walking alone in town. My broth bubbles as it boils, and that's when I know it's time to add in my rice. I stir it into the broth and put a lid over the pan, reducing the heat to a simmer. It'll take around 18 to 20 minutes for the liquids to fully absorb, so I'll leave it to simmer and start on the stir fry. First, I mix together some vegetable oil, ginger, garlic, and cornstarch until the cornstarch dissolves and everything blends. Then I add in my cut veggies, broccoli florets. I add in my cut veggies. Broccoli florets, julienne carrots, snow peas, and green beans. I add in my chicken from the broth and toss the ingredients, lightly coating them in the mixture. After heating some vegetable oil in a skillet, I set to work cooking my stir-fry, stirring constantly. As I do, I slowly add in the rest of my ingredients, including the onions from the broth, some water, and just a bit more ginger. After a taste and some minute adjustments to both the rice and the stir-fry, I plate my dish, putting the rice in a separate bowl to the stir-fry. For your pleasure, I've made oh my god. I don't know if I'm going to keep that as her catchphrase, but I've already been going with it, so I might as well. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. For your pleasure, I've made a oh my god. For your pleasure, I made a ginger stir fry with rice. Please enjoy. I bow as I present the dish, keeping a healthy distance to prevent what happened with Yukihira from becoming my fate as well. She eyes it discerningly, judging the colors of the dish. They say not to judge a book by its cover, but that isn't the case with food. If the outer appearance isn't appealing, it's likely people won't be willing to try it. It's one thing if you're a home chef, but those of us in the restaurant business can't afford having food turned away for looking unappealing. Daimilo-san takes a bite of the stir-fry first. It's underwhelming. I'm totally sleeping in the cold today. I should have just done something from the restaurant, and instead I went with some American country song. Daimilo-san tries the rice next, and I hope that it will balance out the taste of the ginger stir-fry. She exclaims, "Huh? This has more flavor than your stir-fry." I'm not a voice actor. Please forgive me. Also, I think I'm sick. So if you see me wiping out my nose, that's why. The dish is based on a song called "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," where a man goes against the devil in a fiddle contest. The vivid colors of the stir-fry and the underwhelming taste represent the devil's solo, which, while seemingly impressive, is only so because of the demonic band that joins him. While it's a flashy performance, the solo is... Okay, I will be right back. Sorry, my nose was bothering me, and also I wanted to get my lunch started. Did my camera angle change? I swear my fridge wasn't in view. Whatever. Where was I? The vivid colors of the stir-fry and the underwhelming taste represent the devil's solo, which, while seemingly impressive, is only so because of the demonic band that joins him. While it's a flashy performance, the solo itself is, like the stir-fry, underwhelming, especially in comparison to the rice. In the man's solo, he shows his technical skill and his experience of fiddle playing. He seems like a simple man, which is why the devil challenged him, thinking he'd be easy to beat. But really he had an overabundance of talent, like how the rice is, perhaps, overly flavored. She's going to think I'm weird. There's no explaining bad food. I should have just stayed quiet and accepted her critique. Daimilo-san takes another look at the dish and tries to stir-fry it alongside the rice once more. I really only explained as an excuse for my poor cooking, but if I convinced her to give me another shot, I'll take it. Now that you've explained the concept, I can certainly taste it in this dish. Eating the two together, it's more balanced than when I had tried them separately. The stir-fry looks like the main dish, but really it's a side to the rice, is that right? Yes, Daimilo-san. You may live in the storm. Your room is number 304. That was very unexpected. I didn't think explaining it would change anything about her perception of the dish. Daimilo-san hands me the key just as a loud scream echoes through the halls. Well, it looks like Yukihira is already making friends. We'll have to discuss the bath schedule tomorrow. For now, you get settled. That was a distinctly feminine scream, and she's just going to ignore that? Everyone at this school is weird. Leaving Daimilo-san in the kitchen, I lug my things up the stairs, which is easier without grocery bags in hand. You must be one of the new transfer students. Do you need help with those? A voice that is smooth like egg drop soup asks. I look up to see a boy dressed kind of like a housewife in a K-drama. A housewife in a drama? Oh, that's alright. I think I've got it. Thank you, though. I'm Miara Setsuko. I bow my head. Oh my god, I can't say his name. Ishiki Satoshi. I'm a second-year student. At least let me walk you to your room. He seems nice and thankfully pretty normal. I'm glad that a kind upperclassman is a part of the dorm. Alright then. Well, I'm in room 304. Beside Megami Tadokoro. You're in good hands with her. Really? That's good to hear. I met Tadokoro-san earlier today. We're in the same class. How fortunate. Oh, just so you're aware, there will be a welcome party for you and Soma Yukihira tonight, in room 205. Should I expect to see you there? That's a very kind gesture. I'll be there. When will it start? I don't know. How about this? I'll come to collect you and Soma Yukihira before it begins. Alright, thank you. We come to a stop in front of my door, and I set down my bag to open the door. Thank you for guiding me to my room. I'll see you later, Ishiki-senpai. He smiles and nods and then goes back down the hall. What a nice guy. There's a citrusy sort of brightness to his voice, though it is a bit odd he kept using people's full names. My room is pretty small, but nothing I'm unused to. My family is well off, but it's not as if we spend every dime on luxury hotels and estates. Most of the money goes back into the business or into my grandparents' Obachan's funds for travel and living expenses. Funds for travel and living expenses. I just realized there's light on my glasses. I'm not gonna change my angle. It's fine. You can't even see my... If I go like this, can you... Anyways. You can tell I use that word so much because it's in my script, not my script, it's in my book too. Book? Fanfiction. Anyways, I change out of my uniform and unpack my things methodically. My clothes are probably the most important to set out for now, and my books, but I still need to put my oh my god. My clothes are probably the most important to set out for now, and my books, but I still need to put my instrument cases somewhere. I prefer to have natural light when reading sheet music, so I can set my violin case by the window and set up my keyboard there later. I'll have to figure out which outlet is closer to plug in. I'll have to see if my new dorm mates will mind terribly that I play instruments. I wouldn't do it at an unreasonable time, obviously, but I can't exactly plug headphones into my violin. If they do have a problem with it, that would be unfortunate. I do like my keyboard, but it's electric, so the taste is always off. Maybe I can just play outside. While instruments can impact the taste of the dish, it's mainly the melody that decides the composition. So when I'm stuck on a dish, I play until it makes sense. I've been stuck on the same one for a while now. There's just something in the underlying tone of the piece that is hiding behind the bolder notes. No amount of playing or listening to recordings has helped me with it, though. As I put my books onto my desk, I pause at the songbook that holds the recipe eluding me. I inherited my tendency to write my dishes as musical scores from Oji-san, and he left me all of his compositions. Most we've played together, but his last piece remains unfinished, and it plagues me. I set the recipe book beside my own just as a knock comes from my door. Hey, so there's a welcome party, I guess? Some guy told me to get you, Yukihira says, scratching the back of his head awkwardly. That guy must be Ishiki-senpai, though I do wonder why he isn't with Yukihira. Maybe he had to help set up the party. Who knows? 1 second. I grab a cardigan and then follow him, locking my door behind me. Not to be distrustful, but I haven't met anyone other than Ishiki-senpai, Yukihira, and Tadokoro. That, however, is quickly remedied once we arrive. Names are exchanged quickly, as is the information that our host does not want to be hosting us. If you want to have a party, do it in someone else's room. Why do you guys always insist on coming in here? Marui shouts, and it oddly suits his voice, perhaps because I can tell he does it often, but the sour notes aren't as disconcerting as they typically are. What choice do we have? You have the only room that can fit us all. Yoshino falls back casually onto his bed. I watch the exchange from the corner of the room where I sit with Tadokoro and Yukihira. Hey, do not sit on my bed! Should we leave? I asked Tadokoro tentatively as Marui continues to argue with the other dormers. No, they're always like this, she sighs, watching as Aoki? Someone corrects me in the comments. Watching as Aoki stumbles into the bookshelf and sends some tumbling off the shelf. My books again? Again? Tadokoro did say they were always like this. Oh dear. It's pretty crazy, Megami. I can't believe we all ended up in the same dorm, Yukihira comments, leaning back on his hands. Isn't it, though? You mean to tell me you both actually passed the entrance exam on your very first try? Sort of. I'm just glad it worked out. We did pass, Yukihiro-kun. There's no need to be vague, I say, shaking my head. That's incredible. Not very many people have... Oh my god. Maybe it's allergies. I don't take allergy pills. Maybe I should. Anyways. That's incredible. Not very many people have cleared the test in just one shot. Oh yeah? How'd it go with you? Based on her face alone, I'd say not well. We were lucky, I guess, to catch Daimido-san in a good mood tonight, I say quickly, to try to cheer her up. Uh, yeah, she doesn't look any cheerier, though. Hey, you want some of this? Sakaki offers both Yukihira and I cups, which we take. Oh, my oven's ready. 1 second. Okay, sorry. I get so distracted when I'm alone. But, like, I don't like filming in front of people. So, anyways. Where were we? Okay. Hey, you want some of this? Sakaki offers both Yukihira and I cups, which we take. Tadakoro already has one in hand. Thank you, Sakaki-san. Yeah, thanks. Huh? He watches as she pours a near-opaque liquid into his cup. It's so cloudy, and the bottle has a handwritten label. Did you make this yourself, Sakaki-san? I ask, a bit nervous for the answer. Yeah, it's some special juice I made from rice. I don't like that emphasis, but I already took the cup. It's too late to refuse. Drink up! Based solely on the smell, I'm going to regret drinking this. Regardless of my apprehension, I try to keep a straight face and not show my nerves as I take a sip. Gongs burn loudly down my throat, nearly startling the cup from my hands. I swallow my saliva as I try to push it down my throat faster, the echoes lingering in my ear. It's loud. Yeah, is it really okay to be making all this racket this late at night? Yukihira seems to misinterpret my comment, though it is a good question. Sakaki waves us off. It's fine, the dorm is in the middle of a forest. Yes, but there is still Daimido-san. Does she not get up? I am interrupted by the woman herself, speaking through the pipe system. Hey, you kids! There's Student Amberjack and Daikon down here. Come and get it. Woo! Alright, dude. Love you, Grandma. Guess not, Yukihira mumbles as Aoki and Sato leave to the kitchen. They're going down? I'm sure they'll be back before Miss Fumio starts yammering on about the 10, Yoshino comments from where she still sits on Marui's bed, Sakaki soon joining her. What is the Council of 10, exactly? I have to admit, while I do have a pretty good idea from my mom what the 10 is, I would like to know more. She never really talked about them, probably because she wasn't part of the 10 anyways. Huh? Are you asking for real? Sakaki asks, and Yukihira confirms with a nod. Should I have put a tag there that was Yukihira? It's fine. They'll get it retroactively. What? You seriously came here not knowing anything about Totsuki Academy? Senji, will you please fill him in? While I do agree with her, it's not like Totsuki is popular outside of fine dining. Most people probably don't know it by name unless they've specifically looked up cooking schools. Why is it always gotta be me? Marui complains. I get the feeling he gets ganged up on a lot. Well, if this night so far is anything to go by, it's more than a certainty. Oh, stop your complaining, Sakaki sighs. Can you just help the new kids out? Alright, fine, Marui huffs, and then his voice becomes serious, losing the sour flavor of annoyance and leaving his voice sounding more like a sweet lemon tart. The Totsuki The Totsuki Council of 10 is a committee made of the 10 highest-ranked students on campus. Here, students settle most of their issues through self-governance, and all items are decided by a mutual consensus of the 10. It is the highest decision-making body on campus under the director, which means even the teachers have to follow the decisions made by the 10. That doesn't sound like a good idea, I mutter. Leaving a bunch of teenagers to make all the decisions on campus sounds like a recipe for disaster, and it is. It is said that decades ago, the rooms at Kyokusei were always full, and that most of the 10 often came from here, Yoshino says conspiratorially. I had heard about that. That was before living off campus became more popular. There was even a time when Kyokusei residents held every single one of the council seats, and Miss Fumio can really get going on and on about it too. Huh, I hadn't heard about that. That's very impressive though. That's pretty impressive though. Back with the delicious This video would be 10 minutes shorter if I didn't keep stumbling with my words. Back with deliciousness, dudes. Aoki and Sato return with plates and pots in hand, Ishiki-senpai following behind them. Ishiki-senpai stands in front of Yukihiro and extends a hand. Hello, young Soma Yukihiro. Welcome. It's nice to meet you. Yukihiro shakes his hand. We're glad you're here with us. I'm Satoshi Ishiki, a second year. Please, call me Ishiki. Oh, my laundry's done. I'll get it in a second. Will do. Ishiki sighs and looks around the room wistfully. Well, isn't this just lovely? I am simply delighted we have acquired 2 new students. We must share the bloom of our youth. He spreads out his arms wide as if throwing out confetti, or perhaps with the metaphor seeds. Nothing on earth could make me happier. Now, listen to me. The others move around him, plating and sharing the food that Daimedo-san made. We are adolescents living under the same roof, sharing our joys and sorrows. This student life is a blossoming spring. I entered this dormitory enamored with that concept. Let us embrace one another and rejoice in our resplendent dorm life existence. Well, he's certainly passionate, which isn't a bad thing. That's real nice and all, but can you please stop coming to get us by creeping around in the attic? Well, that is a bad thing. What? Doesn't sit right with you? He's so casual about being accused of such actions. What's he doing in the attic? I suppose I could use this contraption. He gestures to the pipes. When I do, Megami Tadokura is always quick to respond. A shiver visibly runs down the blue-haired girl's spine. What did he do to her? Well, do I have to? She asks. I'm starting to think our upperclassman is actually a total creep. He'll eventually give up if you just ignore him, okay? You need to stand your ground, girl. You shouldn't do anything you don't want to. I follow Sakaki and Yoshino's comments. What's going on? My dormmates are a bunch of weirdos and freaks, Yukihiro muses aloud, and Tadokura sighs. I'm pretty sure you'll have no problem blending in. I hum in agreement and we share an amused look. Okay then, does everyone have a drink in hand? Tadokura and I quickly pick up our cups at Ishiki-senpai's words. Then here's to the success of our new students and to the glory of Kyokusei. Cheers! Even with a small sip, the gongs boom. I'm 21. This is how I view alcohol. Also, I know like in the anime they make a note specifically that it is not alcohol, but it totally is. It totally is, right? Special rice juice. Anyways, as the party progresses, conversation and special rice juice flow freely. I try to finish just my cup to be polite. I don't want to seem rude when Sakaki made it herself. Is it rude not to like something just because someone made it, or is it worse if you lie and pretend to like it? Regardless of the answer, it feels like my ears will be ringing forever. Every time I put down my cup, it somehow finds its way to being full. I haven't even seen her pour any rice juice in it. My head is so cloudy, and everyone's talking and overlapping each other. It's overwhelming on my tongue. I flinch as I instinctively drunk the white... Oh my god. I flinch as I had instinctively drunk the white... Why do I keep saying white? The rice juice. As a palate cleanser, like I would with water. Hey, you alright? Sato asks, surprised by my jolt. Yeah, that was a wicked shudder. Aoki leans on Sato, an arm slung over the other boy's shoulder as they're gay. In this fanfiction, they're gay and they're dating each other and they're in a polycule with Zenji. But we'll get into that later. As they look down at where I sit, now beside Yoshina on Marui's bed, as we had been having a conversation about pig farming in Germany? I'm alright, I just forgot about the noise. What noise? I had forgotten that I hadn't told them. Well, since I caught all their attentions, I may as well just get the explanation over with. I have auditory gusto... That's a hard word. That's a hard word when I haven't consumed any rice juice. My hearing and my taste are switched. It's a kind of synesthesia. Oh, I've read about that. There was speculation whether the god tongue really just had that, but it was debunked, Marui comments, gesturing loosely between me and his bookshelf. I nod in response, even though I didn't know that. I could see it being the case, but it makes more sense that it isn't. She seems physically affected by the taste of Yukihira's dish. She seemed physically affected by the taste of Yukihira's dish at the entrance exam, but then again, good food can do that to you. Bad food, too. Bad food like that which lies. My laptop's dying. And I don't have a charger because I left it in Illinois and I live in Wisconsin. Oops. Bad food like that which lies sealed temporarily in plastic Tupperware that Yukihira pulls out the minute that people start presenting their own dishes. Oh, wait a second. I got a brand new dish I was able to make earlier today. Way to go, Soma! That's what I'm talking about. Give it here. As he cracks open the lid, Tadakora and I take 2 traumatized steps back. I speak up as Sato reaches for a bite. I don't think that's advisable, Sato-san. What? Don't be dramatic, Miara. He ignores my warning and takes a large bite. Immediately he pales and I can see the regret in his eyes. Oh my god. Oh wait. No. That's Yukihira talking, sorry. Oh, my bad. It turned out to be revolting. Yukihira smiles devilishly. Oh my god, that's nasty, bro. Did you move? I'm insane. He can't bring himself to swallow, taking a napkin and spitting it out. But I know from experience that won't rid him of the cacophony of the taste. I sigh. I'll make some tea. Sorry. But Yukihira's laughter echoes even as I wind through the halls to the kitchen. It's much quieter here. Oh my god, I misspelled that. It's much quieter here, giving my taste buds a rest as I brew the tea. The second time today I'm brewing ginger tea, and for the same reason too. I bring up a tray with cups and the teapot. Hey, thanks, Miara. Oh my god, thanks, dudette. That was awful. Sato sighs in relief as the tea rinses Yukihira's sins off his tongue. Yes, he did the same to Tadakora and I. Tadakora-san. Oh my god, me. Ugh, I always forget honorifics. Yes, he did the same to Tadakora-san and I earlier. You really need to stop feeding that stuff to people, Yukihira-kan. It was funny, though. He defends his actions with a smile, and I just give him a stern look as I hand him a cup of tea. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, oh god, you should have seen your face, dude, Aoki laughs. Miara, this is so good. What did you put in this? Yoshina asks. Huh? Oh, it's just a bit of apple, cinnamon, and ginger. It's steeped perfectly, Shiki-senpai comments. Thank you. I hide behind my own cup. I'm not very used to receiving compliments from people outside my family. Seriously, it's great. Can you share some tips? I can never get ginger to blend right. Sakaki and I end up in a long conversation about tea. By the end of it, my head wasn't feeling as cloudy, but I was getting a bit sleepy. I was soon roused by what will forever be an unfortunately vivid memory. I heard the sounds of clothes rustling behind me. Ah, yeah, there it is, Sato shouted, and I turned. That's when I saw Ishiki-senpai, naked except for his apron. I turned away immediately, but it was too late to unsee it. Bang! Ping! He vocalized as I could hear him moving as the boys and Yoshino laughed. It was only a matter of time before he's naked and wearing his apron of illusion. Aoki laughs, and I can't help but notice his wording. Matter of time. As if this is common. Why is this common? This shouldn't be common. I made her so dramatic. But that's how I am. So. With the party continuing from that, I decided to stay in the corner with Tadakoro, who seemed equally as uncomfortable with the nudity. It became easier to ignore as time went on, and eventually Tadakoro and I just observed the party, and though it was bright in the room, I fell easily into the darkness of sleep. I awoke as the door closed with a distinctive click. Sitting up, I noticed the lights were off, and most everyone was asleep. Everyone but Yukihira, and presumably Ishiki-senpai, though he wasn't in the room. Oh hey, look who's awake, he smirks. You and Megami fell asleep pretty quickly. Well, we had a long day. You see, Yukihira-kun? We were tortured by a mad chef, I tease softly, moving to sit closer to him. He laughs. Yeah, fair enough. But you know, you can just call me Soma. I mean, we've known each other longer than I've known anyone else here. Just drop the honorifics. Right, I'll do that then. I nod. I'd give you permission to use my name in turn, but you already do. Yeesh, you're so formal. Why do you always talk like that anyways? You sound like an old lady. He sounds so genuinely curious. I almost doubt he realizes he's insulting me. Almost. Well, I traveled with my grandparents a lot during middle school, so I was mostly around adults that I need to be respectful towards. I guess that's why. Ah, well, that's actually a pretty cool reason. You said they taught you how to cook, right? Yes, in place of doing my middle school education at a traditional cooking academy, I traveled with them and did homeschooling. Pretty sweet deal. So why are you here then? It was such a sudden and terrible event. My Oba-chan became sick with grief, and I was struggling too. I came here to feel close to my grandfather. But that's a reason that is too deeply personal for me to tell Soma. Ah, well, my parents thought I could stand to make some friends. It's not a lie. I was going to start attending an actual high school this year regardless of the circumstances. Soma doesn't seem like he fully believes me, but he doesn't press. Makes sense, he nods. Ah, I see you're awake. Ishiki-senpai walks in with a plate sitting carefully before us. How wonderful, now you can both try my dish. Oh lord, this is a long video. Enjoy. It's almost over. Enjoy. Mackerel pan-fried and Chinese pepper. Don't mind if I do, Yukihira snickers as he loads his fork. Thank you for the meal, I say as I too take a piece of the mackerel. Near simultaneously we take our bites, and oh dear what bites they are. A soft rain hits my tongue, pattering against a pond as a gentle breeze sways the reeds. A gentle spring shower I said gentle way too much. The gentle spring shower overtakes my senses. Oh my. By the way, young Soma, my attention was roused by something you said at the entrance ceremony. Aiming for the top spot here at Totsuke may not be as easy as you think. Allow me the indulgence of reintroducing myself to you both. He takes off his bandana, folding it in his hands as his expression turns severe. From the Totsuki Council of 10, I am chair number 7, Satoshi Ishiki. Now then, I would like to try your food next. My food's done. He looks at the both of us, making it clear Yukihira isn't the only one he's challenging tonight. Show me how you express yourself through your cooking. That's the end of my video, because I need to go eat my lunch. Bye!